Hey guys, Nuzzle here today, back from a YouTube video. Today we've got a little bit of a different video here. We're going to be discussing the kind of problems of the versus debating community. Many of you probably already know this if you've been around it for long enough, but I'm here to explain it. I did think about putting this video off for longer, because I just couldn't be bothered talking about it, but it was voted for in the Discord to be the next video posted, so, this is what you're getting, essentially. The first part of the video will mainly be me explaining why versus debating is subjective, and the implications of that will be later on in the video. So if you don't really care about me going on and on about something you may already know, then that's fair enough. But this is mostly for people who don't really agree with us, so to speak. And yeah, let's just get into it. I think it goes without saying that I think Marvel and DC provide the biggest examples of subjectivity when it comes to versus debating and power scaling. But we're just kind of going to go through to prove how versus debating is subjective, right? Firstly, we have calcs, and calcs are of course very important since, they show how powerful a character is. The problem with it is, though, you get different results sometimes for different calcs. You take high ends, low ends, or just different ways of calculating it. The one that immediately comes to mind for me is the Jolene punching away meteors feat, which has been calculated out to 4 different big values, all kind of different from each other. I'll link most of the calcs in the description below so you can go see them yourself, but except for one obviously, but we'll get to that. The different calcs sum up Jolene's feat. One of them puts it around 20 million joules, which would be wall level to small building level, that kind of area. Another puts it at 0.8 tons of TNT, roughly, which would put it at building level. You then have someone calculating out to over 100 tons of TNT being multi-city block level, and then the death battle calculation, which puts it at town level, large town level. The difference between large town level and the calc given for the low end for the feat is equal to over 81 million times. So it's a pretty big gap, to put it lightly, between, just one feat from one character that could possibly scale to other. Why is my head hurting already? Anyways, next we're going to talk about Superman from Post-Crisis. You see, I can make a pretty strong argument for Superman being moon level, planet level, star level, solar system level, galaxy level, universal, multiversal, and outerversal all individually. Don't believe me? Well, here we go. Here's a scan of Superman being knocked out by a moon. Here's a scan of someone stating the Claw of Horus, which has the power of a planet behind it, would be able to knock out Superman. Here's Superman holding a miniature black hole. Here's Superman throwing a condensed solar system out of our own. Here's a scan of Superman not really being bothered about the fact that a bomb could destroy half the galaxy. And here we have a scan of Superman fighting a previous version of another Superman, and in doing so is going to collapse both universes. And if we scale Superman to that other version of Superman, Kal-El, as he's called, is able to fight Superboy Prime, who is able to fight Time Trapper, who is going to destroy all time throughout a multiverse. And then, you have feats such as Superman being able to just fix realities and things like that, just with his own abilities. And yeah, you could try and debate these feats, say they're outliers, but there are a lot of people that will believe each and every one of these individually. And those people who put Superman at certain levels will believe that the other levels of power that Superman has been shown that to be outliers. For example, if you have someone who believes that Superman is outerversal, they obviously believe that Superman being moon level is an outlier. Meanwhile, the person who believes Superman's moon level, it believes that outversal feats are outliers too. So there's not really a winning situation there. Maybe if you go for consistency of the comics, maybe, because then you have Superman more consistently being shown around the star to maybe galactic levels, but that's completely ignoring then the higher end feats that do exist and are legitimate. And this is just post-crisis Superman. Post-crisis, we still have a ton of other different versions of Superman, all from the comics, films, live action films, animated series, animated films, live action series as well. It is, like, all of them have their own feats in scaling as well, and their own weaknesses and things like that as well. Like the whole Superman is weak to magic thing only applies to some of them, for example. So, I don't know how much more subjective you can get when it comes to Superman specifically. But don't think that Marvel is free from this either. For example, Luke Cage, right? You know, arguably street tier to, you know, wherever you want to highball him, given how many different feats there are for these types of characters. You see, Luke Cage has been consistently shown to be able to take hits from the Thing, which has often been on par with the Hulk, who is able to damage Dormammu, who is able to melt all of existence and reality. And yet, despite that, Luke Cage almost dies to a nuclear bomb. Like, not even a nuclear bomb, like a small nuclear explosion being small town level. So, does this mean that Dormammu is now small town level? Oh god, people are going to start memeing that in the comments. So the same sort of applies here. You can, you know, have Luke Cage wherever you wish. You can have him at wall level, building level, town level, outer versal, but there will always be someone who disagrees with you and will have feats to back up what they're saying, just as you will. Now, the final character I'm going to talk about here is a pretty important one because it's also highlighting different opinions people can have on a character's power. And of course, it is Saitama, you know, the man who wishes he had limits and things like that. So, there are, of course, a collection of people who think that Saitama solo stomps fiction since, you know, he has no limits. He's called One Punch Man. He's a gag character. He has beaten everyone in his series with one punch. And, of course, these points can be debated. However, it doesn't stop this selection of people from having these opinions. And these are what they are, you know, opinions. You also have Lord Boros' final attack, which has many different statements depending on the media. For example, in the manga, Lord Boros said he was going to destroy the planet's surface. Well, of course, Saitama was able to counter this though. And in the anime, Lord Boros says he's going to destroy the planet. And in the guide, like in one of the guides that came out, it stated that it's actually powerful enough to destroy a star. So, you know, what is it? Multi-continental, planet level, star level? You know, it kind of comes down to what you think makes the most sense. And yeah, that only adds on to the already existing confusion. Now to talk about, you know, the big boys, you know, Death Battle and Versus Battle Wiki. Now, I disagree with a lot of Death Battle's statements they have brought out about characters. You could probably tell that by looking at my channel. And obviously Versus Battle Wiki, well, yes, they provide good calculations, good scaling for like the power. Their power scaling doesn't always line up like quite logically, in my own opinion. But then again, if you look at what I said earlier on in the video, they would still have like evidence for their own arguments, if that makes sense, as I have evidence for mine. So while their evidence is completely wrong to me, mine is going to be completely wrong to them. And the only thing that you can objectively, like, for example, call them out on is breaking their own logic or spreading around misinformation about a character. For example, when, like in the episodes of their own show, where Death Battle have had one character have better stats and yet had the other one still win without really fully explaining it. For example, Johto versus Kenshiro, Gaara versus Toph, etc, etc. And also the misinformation thing about, you know, for example, Android 18 can absorb energy when she can't. So then, what is my overall point here? I think I've proven that versus debating is subjective, or at least it's heavy related to subjectivity. But my main point here is, don't be a toxic arsehole. You know, having different opinions from someone and being toxic to them is just messed up in so many different ways. Yeah, you could disagree with them, and in response to that, you could debate them. In fact, I encourage you to debate them if you have different opinions and think you can back up your own ideas. But don't be toxic to them, because that's being needlessly, you know, well, toxic. And someone might be asking, well, Nuzley, aren't you being a little bit hypocritical? Haven't you made death battle debunk videos in the past? And well, yes, that is true. But the fact that I've made those videos, and I do intend to, if I ever like make those types of videos again, change them to be like death battle response videos, because that doesn't attract the toxic community as much. I am trying to be fair, or at least civil, in like my death battle like debunk videos. Like, for example, I'll give counter arguments to my own arguments so that the viewers themselves can come to a conclusion. I'm not trying to put myself up on a pedestal here, I'm just generally trying to be fair. So if you already knew this, because I know there's like a small section of the community that does, then I apologize for wasting 10 minutes of your life. But you'd be surprised to see how many people don't really care about this and need to be told about it. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, dislike and subscribe. I intend to be going back to, debating or just bring up another matchup next week. And yeah, I will see you then in the next video.